How do we have political discussions? Mods, this is not meant to be meta, this is meant to address political discussions in general in society, not just here on the sub. I'm curious how you all participate in political discourse with people who disagree with you in the real world. Regardless of your party affiliation, how do you agree on a shared set of facts, and separate them from a belief system in order to have a real conversation on possible solutions, or, crazier enough, candidates who represent those platforms? Honestly, I don't bother in person. The only people who disagree with me in significant ways that I must talk to frequently are my parents and grandparents. And of them, if I have to explain why Disney isn't making you feel guilty for being white, then I'm wasting my time. It's one thing to have a conversation around, say, can government solve poverty, or is the college playoff system broke? Can be spirited, and fun, or at least entertaining. But I have no interest anymore in engaging with climate deniers, or stop the steal folks, or any with fixed positions that will never change no matter the words you use. Nowadays, I try to avoid it all. I'm a social conservative that doesn't like Trump, which means that if I talk about it much honestly, I'm going to clash with much of the population, and in this day and age it's not worth it, so I just talk about politics online where my identity is somewhat masked. I'll likely quit once Reddit other sites start requiring you to use your real name, real identification information. Political discourse doesn't really persuade anyone that actually has an idea of what they are talking about with much frequency. Anyways, pick a single issue and stay on track. Think in terms of the pros and cons of either side. You don't have to win, and more importantly, the other person does not have to lose. I don't believe it's actually possible to have political discussions in this day and age of hyperpartisanship. Best you can hope for is to listen to the most calm person on the other side, and not the extremists. Well, I just learned Ron DeSantis is coming to give a speech where I live, not Florida, and I am going to go wearing a Mickey Mouse shirt. The truth is that there's no point in having political discussions with Republicans these days, because Republicans do not engage in good faith discussion. They view owning the libs as an actual policy goal, and their modus operandi is you go high, we go low. They only seek to shift the Overton window further to the right by legitimizing their far-right rhetoric. There's nothing to be gained. As the podcast Unfucking the Republic likes to say, meet people where they are. Most of those people I disagree with are my co-workers and boss. We just don't discuss it. Most people don't want political discussions. We are so caught up in ourselves these days, and people on the extreme sides despise the other very deeply. People don't want compromise or to understand those they disagree with, they want gotcha moments, or they want to tear down any American who doesn't fit their views. As someone who served, and loves their country with all their heart, this is very saddening to me. Just my opinion. Wow, empty thread. Came here looking for some good strategies on having a civil discourse about politics, but seems like everyone on Reddit is as stumped about it as I am. I enjoy people who disagree with me. They never make me mad or offend me. I like hearing other points of view, I like debating the positions. I find all of this does nothing but improve my own positions. The fact people get upset about politics fascinates me. But in my experience, if you are really angry about politics, more often than not your outrage comes from misinformation. Some people love that misinformation bubble, and discussing politics threatens it. Whether to pass a new tax can be a difference of opinion. Denying women basic bodily autonomy is a rights issue and isn't up for debate. Neither are attempts to invalidate gay marriage. Depends on what the discussion is about. In my experience, conservatives make up facts, which is hard to debate as they are not living in the real world. I refuse to have a political debate with friends or family. Sticking to facts is absolutely necessary, and I usually only debate on social media because it is too divisive otherwise. If someone hasn't researched, they are usually spewing crap. 2 ears, 1 mouth. Listen twice as much as you speak. At the least while listening, don't just be thinking about what you will say. Listen here. I don't really talk about politics because people don't care about facts and because I don't really feel like getting a headache. Also, people on Reddit tend to be a fair bit dumber, confidently so, than they appear IRL. Like the personification of the Dunning-Kruger effect. Not sure where most of these troglodytes come from, but I would be shocked if I encountered any IRL as well. I think part of the issue is that a lot of people feel like they aren't being heard, and that makes them angry. Anger entrenches them into echo chambers. I think most people just want someone who is willing to hear them out and speak for them. If you that, they'll probably become more open to listening to what you have to say.